Cool. Then she gives us this gem.
And the crazy part about it all is that I've been so quiet. I've been so good and quiet. I've been so good and quiet.
That's Skylar Diggins announcing her own benching on Instagram. And if you think that looks unhinged, wait until you hear what Taya Harris just said about Caitlin Clark. Two meltdowns, same day, and both of them point to the exact same problem that's been rotting this league from the inside.
Ty Harris responds to a deleted post by Stavros Forever, who, by the way, in case you guys aren't aware, Stavros is a legitimate Fever fan. He's a Caitlin Clark fan, but he also puts his money where his mouth is. He goes to games, he travels to games, he takes flights to get to arenas. Stavros is a true supporter in every shape of the word. Not saying that if you don't get tickets, you're not saying that. Stavros just goes above and beyond, right? Let's say that.
There it is, y'all fave. Not our teammate, not Caitlin, y'all fave. Taya Harris just told you everything you need to know about the Indiana Fever locker room in 2 words, and the front office let it happen. Because here's what nobody's saying out loud yet. This isn't about one bad tweet. This is about a franchise that's about to waste the biggest star women's basketball has ever seen because they refuse to protect her from her own teammates. Let's start with Taya Harris, because the timeline matters. This didn't come out of nowhere.
Now, in the offseason, after Ty Harris got signed, the writing was on the wall. Ty Harris, chronically online, can't help herself but to clap back at people. Now, this was a response to non-Fever fans, non-Caitlin Clark fans. When she was first signed, people were calling her injury-prone. So I guess this kind of is a clap back to Indiana Fever / Caitlin Clark fans.
That was December. Fever fans were calling her injury-prone when she got signed. And instead of ignoring it like a professional, Taya went to war with the fan base. Cap, rolled ankle, 4 days, first ever surgery. She's keeping receipts on random fans on Twitter.com, and nobody in the Fever organization thought to pull her aside and say, hey, maybe don't do that when you're about to play next to the most scrutinized athlete in women's sports history. Because that's the part that should have been handled the second she signed. You want to play with Caitlin Clark? Great. Here's what comes with it. 1 million new fans, sold-out arenas, national TV games every week, and yes, a fan base that will absolutely roast you if you shoot 31% from the field. That's not toxicity. That's what happens when people actually care about your team for the first time in a decade.
It's out a post, jokingly, sarcastically. Ty Harris finds offense to it, claps back at one of the biggest supporters of the Indiana Fever. Y'all be preying on people's downfalls. Y'all ain't gotta put down others to support y'all fave. I had a bad shooting night for sure, but we got the dub, and what does that help our team as a whole and whoever is your fave? We all trying to help in any way we can. Now, ignore the part that I had a bad shooting night for sure, but we got the dub, and what does that help our team as a whole and whoever is your fave? Forget that doesn't make...
Y'all ain't got to put down others to support y'all fave. Not my teammate, not Caitlin. Y'all fave. And then she doubles down, tells everyone the locker room is fine, trust me, everything's great, we're all trying to help. Meanwhile, this team just had a 2-hour emergency meeting. Stephanie White is taking passive-aggressive shots at Caitlin in press conferences, and now Taya's out here fighting with Stavros, who is one of the most die-hard Fever supporters on the entire internet. The man flies to away games. He's spending his own money to follow this team, and Taya Harris is quote-tweeting him because he made a joke about her shooting 17% from 3. You know what that tells me? It tells me the Fever front office never set the ground rules. They never sat this roster down and said, playing with Caitlin Clark is different, the attention is different, the standards are different, and if you can't handle that, we'll find someone who can.
Referring to Caitlin Clark as y'all fave. Not a good look. Then somebody responds, hey, Ty, you got to get offline. Very unprofessional to be fighting with fans on X. Support y'all fave. Also making like statements like this is toxic for team cohesion. Making it sound like you have resentment for CC and feeding into online narratives. Try to have less thin skin. My point, made up narratives. I'm having conversations like everybody else do on Twitter. Our team is good in the locker room. Trust me. Reread my tweets so you can fully comprehend. Nobody holding resentment. We all trying to help in any way, shape, or form.
It's my day off. And that right there is the entire problem in one sentence. Taya Harris thinks an off day means she gets to scroll Twitter and clap back at fans instead of being in the gym fixing a 31% field goal percentage. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is playing through back injuries, carrying the offense, dealing with a coach who undermines her in public, and watching her teammates refer to her as y'all fave on social media. This is what happens when a league has been mediocre for so long that players forget what real standards look like. You shoot 17% from three, and instead of being embarrassed, you're online defending yourself to fans. In the NBA, you'd be benched. In the WNBA, you get to post "My life is blessed and highly favored" and act like the criticism is unwarranted. But here's the thing. Taya Harris isn't even the craziest part of today.
Skylar Diggins. Quote, Skylar's ability to score the basketball, I think, makes it so that we can really play together. She'll hold it down at the point until I get back, and then when I get back, we'll share their position. Well, Skylar Diggins goes on her Instagram and says, now I'm coming off the bench.
That's Courtney Vandersloot 3 weeks ago, saying she and Skylar Diggins are going to share the point guard position. Everything's great, we'll make it work. Fast forward to today, and Skylar just found out she's been benched, and instead of handling it internally like a professional, she announces it on Instagram, and then she gives us this.
And the crazy part about it all is that I've been so quiet. I've been so good and quiet. I've been so good and quiet.
I've watched that clip 15 times, and I still can't figure out if she's about to cry, scream, or quit basketball entirely. I've been so good and quiet. Skylar, nobody asked you to be quiet. They asked you to play better than Courtney Vandersloot, and apparently you couldn't do it, so now you're coming off the bench and having a full emotional breakdown on Instagram stories like this is a reality show and not a professional sports league. And look, I get it. Skylar Diggins-Smith has been in this league for over a decade. She's a multiple-time All-Star. Getting benched at this stage of your career is brutal, especially when you thought you were going to start. But this is not how you handle it. This is how you make your teammates uncomfortable. Your coaches regret the decision, and your front office start looking for trade partners. Because here's what that video actually says. Skylar can't handle adversity anymore. She's at the point in her career where being asked to come off the bench feels like a personal attack instead of a coaching decision, and instead of proving them wrong, she's on Instagram looking like she's about to have a Britney 2007 moment.
Excuse me. Sorry. Apologies. If you're going to play on a team that Caitlin Clark's on, be prepared for the scrutiny. Be prepared for criticism. Be prepared for not everybody liking you. Be prepared for not everybody wanting to kiss your ass. Be prepared for some people to call you trash. Be prepared for some people to say you need to go. Be prepared for it all. Be prepared for it all. 1. 2. If you're going to be a coach on the Indiana Fever, if you're going to be a...
And that's the advice everyone should be giving both of these players right now. But nobody is. Because the WNBA has spent so long protecting players from criticism that now when legitimate criticism shows up, they don't know how to handle it. They think fans holding them accountable is the same thing as fans hating them, and it's not. Fans hating you is when they stop watching. Fans holding you accountable is when they care enough to demand better. Caitlin Clark brought millions of new fans to this league. Fans who are used to watching the NBA, the NFL, the Premier League. Leagues where if you underperform, you get roasted. Leagues where if you shoot 31% from the field, you don't get to tweet "it's my day off" and act like the criticism is unfair. You get benched, or you get cut, or you get traded, and that's just how professional sports works. But the WNBA has been insulated from that reality for so long that players like Taya Harris genuinely believe they're being bullied when fans point out that 17% from three is unacceptable. They think accountability is toxicity. And that's a culture problem that goes way beyond one player or one team.
You can't gaslight the newer fans. You can gaslight the old fans that eat up the shit sandwich that the league has been serving for nearly 30 years. But the newer fans that have been watching real sports for most of their life, Come on. The locker room is good. Trust me. You guys had a 2-hour team meeting.
Trust me, the locker room is good. Taya, teams with good locker rooms don't have 2-hour emergency meetings. Teams with good locker rooms don't have players subtweeting each other's fans. Teams with good locker rooms don't have coaches taking shots at their best player in press conferences. You can't gaslight people who have been watching real sports their entire lives. We know what a functional team looks like, and the Indiana Fever right now is not it. And the worst part, this was all preventable. The Fever had months to set expectations. They could have brought in a veteran leader who knows how to handle the spotlight. They could have had team meetings in the preseason about what playing with Caitlin Clark would mean for everyone's roles and everyone's media exposure. They could have made it clear that if you can't handle the pressure, you won't be here. Instead, they did nothing, and now they're paying for it. Taya Harris is fighting with fans on Twitter. Skylar Diggins is having a meltdown on Instagram. Stephanie White is undermining her star player, and Caitlin Clark is stuck in the middle of all of it, probably wondering why she didn't just go play overseas where at least the organizations are competent.
They're currently hyping Ty Harris as such a great point guard under Stephanie White and her system. Nothing personal against Ty, but what the fuck are we doing? Dubs in the chat. Ty, we want you to succeed. Ty, we want you to succeed. Please succeed. Steal the starting job. Force the Fever to get rid of Caitlin Clark. Do us all that solid, please.
And the answer is yes, we are doing exactly that. Because Taya Harris has done nothing to earn that hype. Stephanie White can run whatever system she wants. But if the point guard in that system is shooting 31% from the field and spending her off days fighting with fans on Twitter, the system doesn't matter. You can't scheme your way around a player who isn't good enough. And right now, Taya Harris isn't good enough. But here's the real question. What happens next? Because this isn't sustainable. You can't have a franchise player being referred to as y'all fave by her own teammates. You can't have veterans having public meltdowns every time they get benched. You can't have a locker room where everyone's walking on eggshells because half the team resents the attention the other half is getting. Something has to give, and based on how WNBA front offices have operated historically, it's probably going to be Caitlin Clark who pays the price. They'll trade her to appease the veterans. They'll let Stephanie White run her out of town. They'll prioritize keeping the locker room happy over building a championship team, because that's what this league has always done.
You should be in the gym right now, Ty Harris, having an off day. That's the issue. You guys take your off days and you think that you don't need to be putting in extra time. You need to be putting in extra time, Ty Harris. You're shooting 31% from the field this year. Put in extra time. You're shooting 16% from 3 this year.
Except this time, the fans won't let them get away with it. Because the fans who showed up for Caitlin Clark aren't WNBA fans who've been conditioned to accept mediocrity. They're sports fans who expect competence, accountability, and results. And if the Fever waste Caitlin Clark's career because they couldn't figure out how to manage a locker room, those fans will leave, and they won't come back. That's the stakes here. The WNBA finally has the mainstream attention it's been begging for 30 years, and it's fumbling it in real time because players like Taya Harris think they're entitled to support no matter how badly they play, and veterans like Skylar Diggins think they're entitled to starting spots no matter how much better the player behind them is. And the saddest part, Caitlin Clark is handling all of this with more professionalism than anyone else involved. She's not subtweeting her teammates, she's not having Instagram meltdowns, she's not clapping back at fans. She's just playing basketball, putting up numbers, and watching her organization fail her in every possible way.
Caitlin Clark is in and out of the lineup because of her back, apparently. Put in extra time, Ty. Damn. This is the problem. Some of these old fans got you thinking you're better than you are. Put in some time. It's your day off. Get in the gym. Open up the playbook. Watch some film.
You're shooting 31% from the field. You're shooting 17% from 3. Your team's best player is dealing with back injuries and still carrying the offense while you're on Twitter talking about how it's your day off. No, Taya, it's not your day off. It's never your day off when you're playing this badly. You should be in the gym right now. You should be watching film. You should be doing everything possible to prove that you deserve to be on this roster, because right now, you don't. And that's not hate. That's not toxicity. That's just reality. The reality that the WNBA has been avoiding for decades, and the reality that's finally catching up to them now that people actually care enough to pay attention. So here's the real question, and this is the one that's going to determine the future of this league. Does the WNBA want to be a real professional sports league, or does it want to be a safe space where veterans get to coast and underperforming players get to clap back at fans without consequences? Because you can't be both. You can't demand to be taken seriously as a professional league while players are on Instagram having meltdowns and on Twitter calling their best teammate y'all fave. You can't ask for mainstream attention and then act surprised when that attention comes with mainstream standards.
You look like you're losing it a little bit. You look like your marbles are scrambled right now. I get it. You're ultra competitive. I love ultra competitive. This looks a little unhinged to me. This looks a little unhinged, a little crazy. Relax. Take a deep breath. I'm rooting for you. Take a deep breath. Ready? Together. Let's do it. In through our nose and out through our mouth. Excuse me, I'm a little congested.
And that's the choice the Indiana Fever and the WNBA as a whole have to make right now. Do they protect Caitlin Clark and build around her the way a competent organization would? Or do they let the inmates run the asylum until she demands a trade and takes all those new fans with her? Because I'll tell you what's going to happen if they choose wrong. Caitlin Clark is going to leave. She's going to go to a team that actually appreciates her, a team that will build a real roster around her, a team where the veterans understand that her success is their success, and the Fever are going to go right back to playing in front of 3,000 people in a half-empty arena, wondering where it all went wrong. And when that happens, when the ratings collapse and the attendance disappears and the national TV deals dry up, I want everyone to remember this moment. I want everyone to remember Taya Harris calling Caitlin Clark y'all fave on Twitter. I want everyone to remember Skylar Diggins having a breakdown on Instagram. I want everyone to remember that the WNBA had everything it ever wanted handed to them on a silver platter, and they fumbled it because they couldn't handle the fact that real attention comes with real expectations. So what do you think? Is the Fever locker room actually fine, or is this whole thing about to implode? Drop a comment, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because this story is just getting started, and it's only going to get messier from here.